See, I have a great regards of Gulzar Saab's punches, and I have grown up watching that. And I come from that regime, Taratar Amritsar. So, the subject is very, very close to me. The other thing, the Marches, Hawaii, all the other films which you have mentioned, those films are work of fiction, and where Punjab 95 stands is based on a true story. All the accounts are based on a legal history of that particular era. This is more than, I think, it's like documenting the dark chapter of insurgency period. And that is what Punjab 95 is all about. And which I feel like why this film is more relevant because there's certain things which happened during Punjab 95 in that particular time in the insurgency period, which started, like, say, from 1984 onwards, after the Blue Star till 95, 96, it was very much there. Yeah, they were like uncertain, little more extra powers were given to the police to handle the militancy because in Punjab, there was a big turmoil of militancy and, to handle that and how few police officers, they misused their power. This is the intent to inside human nature when somebody is being given lots of power and they intend to, few of them, they intend to misuse that power. I believe those kind of the same thing is happening right now because some extra powers been given to CBFC and few people are definitely trying to misuse those powers. So in coming back to Jaswant Singh Khalra case, so those when Mr. Jaswant Singh Khalra figured out about those estimated 25,000 extrajudicial killing and the people who never returned to their home, and when he started fighting for those people, what happened in the course of the entire thing, the regime, they couldn't take it because Jaswant Singh Khalra was somewhere challenging the state court. His allegations were to the AGP and to the state government, and where he was seeking some answers, which they didn't like. And later, on 6th September, he himself got abducted. His family became one of the family he was fighting for. He had 4-year-old son, 6-year-old daughter at his house. Still, he went on and he took the fight when he got kidnapped. And when the FIR was put in there, nobody was ready to accept that. Of course, the police station and the police people, they never agreed to that. They have kind of kidnapped him or they have kind of abducted him. So they made the simple case of disappearance. And the time passed by, and later on, when the inquiries happened and everything happened, central government took a stand and they formed a CBI committee. CBI committee came to Punjab and they figured out over the period of time, like Jaswant Singh Khalra was not disappeared; he was abducted by the cops. Everything is on the records. My entire film is on the testimonies of the people, on the court proceedings, court judgments, records, and not only from whatever the material is there in public domain, also attested by the courts, like CBI Special Court, Session Court in Punjab, Punjab and Haryana,
Haryana High Court, then
and the, the Supreme Court of Court. Yeah. So, if you're challenging the film, you're challenging the history of Punjab. So,
right.
you have to make a stand whether that thing exists. If those things are true, whatever happened was right, or the, like, which shows the government in a great light, that this film is a relevant. And I don't really understand what is the problem CBFC have with this film and why they are trying to stop this film. Yeah, absolutely. I feel so. And I think we have become more rigid, and now the explanation is not there. Like lots of the people, they go by the kind of dictatorship because even say if you're telling me there are certain cuts from which I need to get a T2, you don't ever let it be reason why these cuts are required. because then you intend to feel when these people who are giving you the cards, when they don't have a legitimate answer, then you know he, these people are also being governed by someone. There are people in power who are just trying to probably use CBFC, as a backdoor entry to enter into the film industry to control the freedom of speech and freedom of expression so they can control the narrative according to whatever is their political agenda or whatever is there in political favors. So yeah, there are certain things. I think ये चीजें पहले भी होती थी, अब भी हो रही है, but जिस हद तक हो रही है, that is like little uh, it, somebody need to make sense out of it because it doesn't make any sense to me why these cuts are there. Why? What is the problem?
Right.
Everything is there in the records. When everything is there in the public uh,
Public
records,
domain. Yeah.
public domain, yeah. I really have no idea because so many times we try to have the dialogues with them, but there is always a radio silence between us. Earlier, this was about 21 cuts, and which we opposed to like to be inducted to those cuts. And now the F cut is also not there. Tribunal is also a tribunal is not there. So, like, you don't have an option. Now, the film committee, when the censor committee sees the film, after that, they recommend your film to the revising committee. If you don't agree to the revising committee, you go to the High Court. So we did the same thing. We didn't agree, and we went to the High Court. And in the High Court, we were like on a great wicket because the Lordship has seen the film and everybody has seen the film. So we didn't know what the argument was. Most of the points made by CBFC was merely on assumptions. Where at one point, Lordship had even say since when the court started working on assumptions. Then the point came about the law and order will get disturbed in Punjab, which I don't understand. A Kashmir story comes from Kashmir. Law and order is intact. Kerala's story comes from Kerala. Law and order does not get corrupted. Emergency comes from Delhi. Sabarmati comes from Gujarat. All four films from four different states. Their law and order is intact. Why a film will come out of Punjab and Punjab's law and order will not be controlled by the government? And since when CBFC started looking into the law and order of any state, that's a certification board. Their job is to give the certificate. That is one of the biggest problem. Largely in India, we don't do our job properly. We intend to look at other people's job. You are CBFC, your job is to give the certificate. Law and order is the problem of state government.
Right.
Let them do their job. So these are the problems. And I definitely feel CBFC is somewhere like they are misusing their power. Yes, because we were almost there in High Court when my producer got a call from the CBFC and from higher authorities that not to fight against the CBFC and not to fight against the government. And you have to withdraw the film from the High Court. That was the time when my film was selected for Toronto International Premiere, International Film Festival. So we had to remove the film also from there,
Yes.
from the festival. We had to remove the film from the High Court, and we were asked to do the out-of-court settlement on those 21 cuts. And the CBFC was told when the cuts are there, you please check and fast track this and give them the certificate. That is what I have been told because I was not the part of that meeting. Then we did 21 cuts. We submitted the copy, and then revising committee was they said we still have more observations, and they gave certain more points, and it went on and on. It happened till 6 to 7 times. By the time the revising committee had seen the film. So by the Cinematographic Act, revising committee cannot watch the film more than twice. यहाँ पे एक ही रिवाइजिंग कमेटी 7 बार कर देगी.
Right.
And then they also has the things to say कि cuts are okay, but असर कम नहीं हो रहा है. So how do you answer to these kind of things, these kind of questions? Then it went on to 85 cuts. Then we were told, ki, okay, do these 85 cuts and the chairperson will watch the film. Then the chairperson watched the film. And we were awarded with 16 more points, and which kind of like if you put together, it becomes more than 125, 27 cuts. Yeah. And we are still,
Yeah, please.
we are still trying to do out of court settlement, and the out of court settlement is not ending. My producers were forced to withdraw the film from High Court and Toronto International.
Right.
So then you had to, because you can't fight with the government. So probably. And my producer agreed, and then we had to withdraw the film, which was very, very unfortunate and very disheartening. It's like, you don't get a direct mail. If Censor Board has a problem with certain cuts, the logic says they need to write an email and should have their sign. These are the things they are asked. I don't have any sort of that paper. They communicate things to their lawyer. Their lawyer communicates things to my producer's lawyer. Then those things comes to me. Then I have to make the changes, submit it to their lawyer. So it's a very goal. It's nothing is legitimate. Nothing is by the book, by the law. That is what is more disturbing in the course of uh, the entire Punjab 95 getting delayed. Yeah. So I tell you the cuts from the film, because I don't know whether you have watched the film or not. The cuts, it's a film set in Punjab. So now they want the Punjab word should not be mentioned in the film.
Okay.
So they are the people who are like Punjab police. They're
Right.
wearing the costume.
Costume. Yeah.
They are saying, don't say Punjab police, say police.
Okay.
They're the cops with the turban. Which other state of India has that? What do I call them? They have no answer to that. The words like Jaswant Singh Khalra went to Taratat crematorium where he found 600 uh, unclaimed bodies. Then he went to 3 more crematorium, Patti, Durgiana and Amritsar, where the total he put together was 2097. Then later on 6007. And then the estimated number in Punjab was near about 25,000. They are saying you cannot mention all these places, Patti, Durgiana, Tarantan, don't name them. Don't mention any figure like 600, 200, 2097, 6,000, 17, 25,000. No mention of these things. There should not be any mention of police brutality, like Jaswant Singh Khalra was captured and tortured. So reduce that by 80%. You cannot show Indian flag, you cannot show Canadian flag, you cannot show London flag. Why? So there is no reason. There are other things like the film is set in Punjab, so I used Gurbani, with all the respect and where it was needed to be used. I used Gurbani and I have been asked to remove the entire Gurbani from the film.
Right.
Then I am not allowed to the words like Delhi I cannot mention, center I cannot mention, system I cannot mention, state I cannot mention. The year of 1984 I cannot mention, 95 I cannot mention, extrajudicial killing I cannot mention, unclaimed bodies I cannot mention. Then what I am doing with the third? I cannot use Jaswant Singh Khalra's name. Right. I cannot talk about those dead bodies which are mentioned in NHRC की report पे उनको
Reports.
central government से compensation मिला है families को.
Right.
It's such a big history, just a part of big history, and it shows. Like I don't see there is any problem if all these things have happened in the history. When the regime changed, when the new PDP came in the power, when after Brian Sikh's assassination, a new chief minister came into the power, there were things which got in control as well. Why don't we see that side also? Because when these government officials were found guilty, it's the same government. They gave them the punishment to send them behind the bars. That shows our constitution in a great light.
True.
So I'm not even talking about the entire Punjab police system. No,
True.
it's just like when the power is given, दो तीन लोग तो उसका मिसयूज करते ही हैं यार. हमारे क्लासरूम में छोटे बच्चों की फोर्थ फिफ्थ स्टैंडर्ड के क्लासरूम में चले जाओ, दो तीन बच्चे आपको शैतान मिल जाए.
True.
So what is the big deal? So the people who are culprit, they are getting punished. So that shows our constitution.
Right. Right.
So
Sir,
if
please.
if I cannot mention all these things, then what is left in the film? Only trailer is left. There's so many experiences with the because I was too young even to decide that particular time. I was like in seventh standard when we moved out of that, and that was not the age for me to decide what I'm going to do. But I remember I hearing Jaswant Singh Khalra name, and they were the big name, and Punjab. Karandan was also the heartland
Yes.
during that particular time, and then over the period of time, there were certain other personal experiences and what the people of Punjab has gone through, what we have experienced, what we have seen. And I used to mention this to one of my very close friend and business partner, Abhishek, and who always used to guide me to tell, like, these are the personal stories. They have like good values, to do that. And then the COVID happened. When I came to the industry, I started my career and all those things. And I was not even planning. When the COVID happened and I started reading Amandeep Sandhu's book called Punjab, and there was one chapter called Lasha. And when I started reading that, I was like, these things are keep coming back to, and I think this is the time, and if I can look into that, if I can make a movie about this. Then I started reading and other things about Jaswant Singh Khalra and the insurgency period of Punjab, read Ram Narayan Kumar's book, Reduced to Ashes. So many other books and the material was available. Then one day I spoke to Amandeep and I told him, I have read your thing also and I want to do a film on this. And he was the person who was kind enough to introduce me to the Khalada family. And then I spoke to them. And the day I spoke to Amandeep Sandhu that I want to do a film on this, that date was 6th September.
Right. Right.
And
Such
I
a
was like,
coincidence. Yeah.
that's the
Really.
great coincidence. And I was like, Aman Pati, let's go ahead and let's make this film. Now, I think there can't be a better day to decide whether I should be doing this or not. And I went on, then I narrated to my producers. Producers loved the subject and the script. Then I narrated to Diljit. Diljit came on board even without charging any money. Like he never asked to be paid a single rupee. He never
Right.
put in any price. And of
Right.
course, even I wouldn't have been able to afford him because he's on some different level, But whatever we could afford, we just paid a token of respect. This is very disturbing, disheartening, it's frustrating. And when you don't have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and we claim we live in a democratic country, so where is the democracy? It's a violation of Article 19 and 19.
Right. Right.
If an artist does not have a freedom to express themselves, then what's the point? The people who have a problem, they can come after the artist, they can sue the artist, they can go to the court and let the court decide. Why we are becoming the god and deciding everything on everybody's behalf? No, because when the censor was playing so weird and still playing, and I was really wanted to know, probably I'm too emotionally attached with the film and I cannot understand their point. And so I should, because I was told some religious sentiments will get hurt and law and order position situation can arise. So the first thing I started with, okay, let me go to Punjab and show this film to the students. You know, Shiromani Gurdwara Prabhupada. And I showed the film to them, and they watched the film. They loved the film. They loved it to an extent. They went on to put their videos on YouTube, and then they approached Akal Takht Sahib, and they put the request there that Akal Takht Sahib should watch this film. Akal Takht Sahib made the body a committee, and they came to Chandigarh and they watched the film. And they were so moved with the film, they said, stop even calling this a film. It's a part of our history, which is being documented so well. This has all the chances to go political, but this film only talks about human rights and Jaswant Singh Khalra's martyrdom. And it shows our constitution also in a great light. So we are very happy with the film. And even the few people from Punjab only told me if this film will be edited, we will not allow this film to come.
Yeah.
Is there evidence for that? Everybody will oppose. No, when these demands does not make any sense.
Right.
Now, say like in South, everybody has seen the films. Like I think all over India and abroad, around 400, 500 people must have watched the film. I'm not finding one person who is telling me that your film has these kind of problems. That's why the film is not coming out. I am not finding that person. It's only the CBFC. They know all the truth. See, it's a great story about our history, and it's a great story about Jaswant Singh Khalra and his martyrdom, and we should definitely learn from these kind of stories. You know, if we are making a film on Bhagat Singh, we are making a film on Mahatma Gandhi, we are making a film on Sardar, Jaswant Singh Khalra is equally relevant for me first, and that is what my belief. So if the films can be made on other heroes, Jaswant Singh Khalra is my hero, and I should be allowed to make a film on his life and to show where he comes from and what was his mindset. For me, he's a great man. So, and I'm very, very hopeful there will be a day when this one will see the light of the day.
Right.
Is there any something changes? People who are watching the film, the word of mouth spreads, probably reaches to the center government, and I can only request the center government to look into the matter personally and wisely enough, so the CBFC or any independent body should not misuse their powers. You know, it's been 30 years. It took 30 years for Jaswant Singh Khalra to come alive in the society again, and he's been abducted after 30 years. This time was abducted by the CBFC.